Hi everybody, welcome to the Bluegrass Skeptic for the week ending on June 6th. Yeah, I'm a day late and a dollar short again, but I don't really have a good excuse this time other than it was late and somehow I deleted my original video. So, point 2, point 5, point 8, doesn't matter, I'm here. So anyway, I had to decide this week what I wanted to discuss, and I knew what I definitely didn't want to discuss because I'm kind of burnt out on the topics at the moment. And one would be Caitlyn Jenner. And no, this being burnt out on her news has nothing to do with my view of her transitioning to being the woman she is. Not at all. Everybody's already talking about it. I don't think I need to add any more to the discussion. There's like plenty of opinion out there. And also, I am not going to be discussing the Duggar interview on Fox. I don't even want to waste my brain cells. There's better things to watch. I already have an idea of how that's going to go down, and I haven't even read articles about it. I'm just like totally avoiding the topic at this point because it's damage control. That's all they're trying to do. So anyway, I decided to talk about the fact that Rick Santorum told the Pope to sit down and shut the fuck up when it comes to science. Yeah, he sure did, in case you missed it. And it's huge to me because Rick Santorum, he's a pretty devout Catholic. That's like his particular brand of faith. And he basically told his brand of faith's big hat wearer, literally, not just metaphorically, to shut up. Wow. I mean, for me, this really shows how religion has nothing to contribute to politics other than agenda. It really isn't about bringing more God to America. It's about votes. In this case, Santorum specifically wanted the Pope to be quiet in regards to climate change. In case you didn't know, Pope Francis very much supports research and everybody working together to deal with the problem with, greenhouse gas, air pollution, global warming, all of that stuff. He sees it as a very real problem. While it is called into question, apparently, though, Pope Francis does have a bit of a scientific background. I think they said his resume says something about schooling as far as a chemical technician or something like that. So maybe he's got a little bit of an engineering background with chemicals. Oh boy. Yeah. Wonder if you can make some acid. Okay, anyway. I was reading an article, though, on MSNBC, and in this, they kind of go into more detail about, what Santorum said in particular. And when I first read this article, I was seething angry. I mean, I was pissed. Pissed like I wanted to grab a shoe, find a picture of Santorum on my computer screen, and just start beating the shit out of it. I mean, I was mad. Simply because of the hypocrisy of what he's saying and what he's doing. In particular, let me give you one quote, and we all love Santorum quotes because, it's what comedy gold's made of. Now, I wanted to share with you a few quotes from this article that had me so angry. The first being, "The church has gotten it wrong a few times on science, and I think we are better off leaving science to scientists and focusing on what we're really good at." Can you all guess what the types of Pope Francis and Rick Santorum are really good at? Come on. It should be obvious. Theology and morality. Literally, that's what he said. Theology and morality. That's what the Pope needs to handle. Nothing else. Now, some could argue, aren't we morally required to take care of the planet and its people since God put us here? Apparently not according to Rick Santorum, which is kind of weird. I wonder what version of the Holy Roman Missal he's gotten to look at. I know mine, it's like this thick and it's big. I could kill a burglar with it. It's so huge. And I'm pretty sure their Jesus character wants people to take care of what God's created. But what do I know, right? And on top of that, when I read that, and knowing how much he politicizes climate change, environmental science. He politicizes this shit because, he's stumping for president. So he tries to appeal to the Tea Party crowd, religious conservatives and all of that. All I could think of when I read that, first thing out of my mouth, honestly, is just, what a cunt. I could not believe he actually went there. But he doubles down on this cuntiness that he's so good at. He literally said, when we get involved with politics and controversial scientific theories, I think the church is probably not as forceful and credible. He just said the church is not credible. The church that he wants homeschools to have the right to take creationist doctrine from and insert it in place of earth science. But yet, the Pope doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. This, I don't think he thought very long about whatever it was he was thinking. He totally has confused me now on what his goals and agenda is. Other than, he's just saying whatever he can out of his ass and hoping he gets points and nobody bothers to correlate with everything else he said. So I hope people take advantage of this come, Maine primary season and nail the coffin down shut once and for all with this guy's political career. Please. I'm sick of seeing him. But it just, wow, So not only does the Pope need to sit down and shut up because only scientists should be sciencing, the church doesn't know what the fuck it's even talking about when it comes to science. Even though he wants to use theology to decide science matters here in the United States. This is like a major case of having your cake and eating it too. And I mean by eating it, he's like shoveling this shit with a goddamn spade as fast as he can. He's bloating. He's so full of shit right now. It's nuts. And I mean, this guy is sitting here, like I said, he's stumping for platforms, on a platform for the presidency where, he's asking for creationism to be taught as science because he wants Common Core killed. He wants it gone. And not for testing reasons that's the problem with Common Core. No, because he wants his regulations in states to be lax enough so that they can start forcing creationism to be taught in the science room, in public schools and in home schools. That's why he wants that. This is a man who, he's doing religious point scoring, period. I mean, how many moderate Republicans are really going to want a man who will stand up in front of, the fossil fuel drilling teams down in the Gulf, hold up a rock and say something as asinine as, oh, carbon monoxide is poisonous to humans. Tell that to a plant. I mean, what the hell? It just drives me crazy. And this is just in 2012. This is just a couple years ago. I mean, he's straight up just constant point scoring. And I think when Francis stepped up and said, whoa, we agree we got to take care of God's creation. While we might not all in the world agree that this globe that we live on is a God's creation, we can all agree it's important to take care of it. And that's the flexible part I'm talking about, that's nice about dealing with the Pope. He can be quite flexible. A lot of the popes have been in the past. Because they got to keep their market appealing to the rest of the world, They're pretty huge globally. So, I mean, I guess it's just the bastard can't stand having the Pope crimp his political message. And, god damn, it's just fucking ballsy. Tell the Pope, basically, to sit down and shut the fuck up. Just, wow. It's going to be a long campaign season. And I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg that we're going to see over the next year. But moving on. Kentucky issue at hand next. And Ken Ham, Answers in Genesis Ken Ham, Ark Park, as I like to call it, Ken Ham, is back in the news. Not last night, I think it was maybe the day before yesterday, a local TV station that I watch all the time, WLWT.com, had maybe a 3-minute segment that kind of highlighted the Ark Park and things that are going on. If you go to WLWT.com, you want to go to the video section under local news, and it should be right in there. What's really interesting about this particular segment is because Ken Ham is inviting people to come by the car full and come visit his construction site. for his Ark encounter. But there is a catch. You have to pay him $20 to go visit this construction site. That really pisses me off on so many levels. I can't even begin to put it into words. And it gets worse than that. I think you pronounce his name as Mui, or maybe it's Dewey, or, oh hell, Louie, I don't know. Or Huey. Huh. I'm not sure what his last name is, but he's one of the representatives for AIG over there at the Creation Museum. And he, in one sentence, and probably without realizing it, he really put into perspective what this Ark encounter is really all about. As Mui, whatever his name is, had said, he literally, and I'll quote this, he said, "God didn't audibly come down to us and tell us to build an ark, but it's been a passion of Ken Ham, a visionary, for many years." That is what the Ark Park is about. And I think it's pretty blatantly obvious, especially with its constant struggle with getting any kind of financing, breaking ground. I mean, how many times has he promised, oh, we're going to open it next summer? I think now he's saying it's slated for 2016. Summer of 2016 it's supposed to open. And apparently last year they officially broke ground by driving, I guess, a big wooden peg into the ground. And it was a private ceremony. I'm highly skeptical they actually broke ground on the day they said they did, but all I can do is be skeptical about it. But it bothers me because this really is about one person, one man's personal interest, passion, project idea. It really has nothing to do with, the broader discussion of Christianity, in my opinion. Bringing the gospel, as he likes to say, to the public. And I was kind of wondering about this, and as I kept watching, they have a couple clips where they actually show you scenes from a video released by Ken Ham's group, where you see basically a big, pretty empty-looking construction site for 1 year's worth of being under construction. I'm kind of surprised that there isn't more done. I know he's lost a lot of his financing. We also know, of course, that he had his tax incentives jerked away after the state realized he's going to be extremely bigoted in his hiring practices. And it's kind of funny. I mean, we can't even be sure he's really going to open this thing in the summer 2016. This might be just another effort on his part to raise money, because he has nothing to work with. I mean, this guy's Ark encounter has been promised. It's like the second coming of Christ. How many times have we heard, oh, it's this year, it's this year, it's this year. No, it's this year. And then it's not. And I really feel like this is the same thing. He keeps your interest ramped up. He keeps the public, well, at least Grant County, motivated, because that's the county that looks to benefit the most if this were to actually work. He just keeps everybody baited and trying to keep money coming in, but there's nothing really to show for it. And this has been going on since 2010, folks. 5 years. And he barely has more than a dirt pile with cement and some lumber. I mean, even as far as the timeline goes, they interviewed one of the construction workers working on the site, and you're going to love this quote. Quite literally, he said, he, as in Ken Ham, he had a pretty serious deadline, but he wasn't sure what that was. From day one, this has been an open-ended timeline project. I mean, this park, this construction site, it's like a sandbox of this visionary's embattled dreams and passion. There's nothing to see. There's nothing really there. Yeah, they broke ground. There's some really big logs laying out in the freaking sand pit gravel area. I mean, there's nothing there. So save your money. Find a cause that you really want to contribute to. In fact, I personally think, and actually I might start a campaign for this, we need to write this man a message and let him know. You don't charge people money to come see a project you want them to come fund. This is business 101, I would think. I mean, I can't account for why he's struggling with getting money together. I thought he had investors and backers. And I mean, granted, he's already got the nerve to sue the state of Kentucky because they're not going to let him have the tax exemptions because, well, we all know, originally, and I remember reading this online posting myself, you had to give, in order to work at this place, you had to pass basically a religious litmus test. You had to denounce homosexuality. You had to affirm that you believed in, I think, the whole creationist myth. And there's a couple other very obviously religiously cited qualifications, which would exclude so many people. And that's not how tax money works. Tax money we use to fund, some private and some public events, parks and colleges and whatnot. But you can't then take that public money and exclude the public. It's not rocket science here, but he's saying that because we're saying you can't take our money and then say we can't participate unless we follow these very specific religious beliefs that go against my beliefs, because you need them to go with your beliefs. Well, you're going to sue us? Call it religious discrimination? I don't think so. It's called, we all live in the same sandbox. We all contribute money into it. You can't then decide this corner's mine, and if you don't wear this tie on a certain day of the week with a hat on and an umbrella, you don't get to come on the park. You don't get to do this. You don't get to do that. I mean, the man throws people out of his museum all the time if you question too much, if you laugh. I mean, you should be able to go in, and if you see something ridiculous, laugh to yourself amongst your friends. It's not like you're going to walk around and tell other people, hey, look at this. This isn't legit. This is stupid. This is this. No, but you can't throw people out and take their money. Oh, I should mention you can get a 50% discount on this admission to the construction site. So instead of $20, you could pay $10, which I still think is ridiculous. It's just really rude to charge people to come see a construction site of a project that they've already invested land in. Yes, a bunch of people just gave Ken a bunch of land. It just isn't right. But anyway, if you want a discount, you can get half off of $10 basically if you sign up for a membership with the museum. Memberships start, let me see, I think it said for an individual like myself, because I'm not a senior or a child, I know they have discounted rates for that, but for myself, it's $78.95 a year. And if it's a family, I think it's up around $179 a year, somewhere in there. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But yeah, sure, you can invest 8 times to 18 times as much money to save $10 to see a construction site that has nothing to show. Nothing. I should also mention, from what I understand, the park has been reduced in size since he lost not just the tax incentives, but apparently he has lost financial backing from some investors. Now, from what I understand, the Ark will still be the size, 500 cubits by the length of 2 football fields, I think is what it is. The Ark size will stay the same, but the surrounding park area is smaller. So it's still already shrinking down in size. It's very slow in progress. I mean, they broke ground supposedly a year ago. I think it was May or June, maybe. I don't remember the exact. You could probably Google it and find it. But in a year, go look at WLWT.com and see what they've gotten done. There's nothing there. I think he's using this as a ploy to drive more business into the Creation Museum to try and raise money, because I think he only managed to even start what he started because of the Bill Nye debate. And that's one of the things Bill Nye said he's going to debate this guy at that facility. I was pissed because I knew this would happen. He'd start throwing money at this. Oh, poor everybody being persecuted that believes in creationism. Those kind of things always draw a crowd and support from all kinds of people. I should also note, what was that? Southern Poverty Law Center had mentioned also the place is questionable and might have a tough time in court because some of the support groups that are helping Ken Ham do his legal case include KRC, which is a pretty notable freaking hate group. Very notable. And oh yeah, they're religious. You know, just like Ham, they've got a very strict creationist view, very literal. So it seems that all the bigots tend to flock together when they're not getting their way. I have a feeling he's going to be poorly disappointed, and so will the people of Grant County and Kentucky, because this lawsuit Ken Ham is bringing to court, who's got to fund the state attorneys that have to argue against Ham's requirements for getting that money, saying it's religious discrimination? Our very own state attorneys and their assistants and the judges. So there goes our tax money to deal with another frivolous lawsuit, because somebody can't take the word no when they want to be an asshole. But anyway, that's the end of this recap. I will have more next Friday, and here's hoping it'll be something more cheerful and exciting and not frustrated and needing to write for about 3 hours. Have a good one, everybody.